Welcome to Musician Metaphysics, Episode 4, where I have a wonderful conversation with Tilney Erhardt. Tilney is a philosopher, he's well-read, he's a musician extraordinaire, and man, does he have a vocabulary. I had a lot of fun in this conversation, and man, we talked about a lot. Tilney's been a wonderful inspiration to me, and he's always got words of wisdom, so I was really thankful for him coming to be on the show. Thanks for being here, Tilney, and everybody, thank you for listening. I usually get, like Joe Rogan's always on everybody. Get on the mic. Oh, you never?
Don't watch Joe Rogan.
No, man.
Don't need to.
Yeah. Well, I've been kind of watching a lot of the podcast guys just because I'm doing a podcast.
Well, you from glean professional insight.
It's I just did a little promo for us, and I was like, man, I love producing this by myself, going back and forth. And then I've got a handy little just-in-case recorder.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't that suck to do a 2.5-hour podcast or however long? There's no rules.
Remember when people used to write down what other people said and then move type around and put ink on the top of paper and then mail it to people?
Dude, no shit, right? Yeah, man.
That's so 20th century. I don't know.
It's crazy now.
Or 8th century.
Yeah, or 1st century. Maybe.
You know what the second book off the Gutenberg press was about?
No, I don't.
The death of the publishing industry.
That's great. The first one was the Bible, right?
Oh, no, they had a whole bunch of, there were a couple of invoices. I mean, the first thing that anybody ever prints out is paperwork.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that, man.
The Gutenberg Bible was famous for being the first movable type Bible.
Right. That's right. They forgot to tell us all the other stuff in seminary.
It's like, no, the dude had a print shop. It's like,
make some money.
Had to wait for Martin Luther to put up the bans on the church so they could put it in anything but Latin. Yeah. So that was kind of an issue as well.
Dude, it was a big issue. Well, before we get into the metaphysics, let me get this started.
That's history,
yeah, well, for me, man, so I won't jump in. I got the one and the only Mr. Tilney Erhardt. I always fuck up. Yeah, I always fuck up.
Erhardt.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I usually do it on stage when I'm announcing people. The one, the only, I call him the David Lee Roth of keys.
I'll figure that out one of these days.
It's just, you got that swagger, man, fucking, woo, yeah. I can see you doing some front kicks, Yeah. Well, maybe back in the day, I'm not doing no front kicks anymore.
I would do some knee sliding on occasion.
Did you
there
really?
was a physical component to the show.
Yeah,
when that was necessary.
Well, man, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
me,
man.
Yeah, dude. Like of all there's a lot of musicians in Kansas City that I admire, but you're one of those guys. And you were the first time I met you was at the Westport, and you asked me if you could sit in on my set, and it was my first set at the Westport.
Well, there you go.
It's pretty cool, man.
Sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. So what you been up to, man?
Oh, about 6'3".
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it getting lower now?
Yeah.
Kind of like your...
Still doing Nace Brothers gigs.
Yeah.
We got Andy DeWitt starting to fill in, playing some bass for us.
Awesome.
Who's an outstanding musician and super good dude.
Right on.
Chase is going to start pulling weekends at the Black Dolphin. Playing
Black
upright.
Dolphin? That's
the Green
jazz.
Lady, Black Dolphin.
Gotcha, yeah.
And he's just thrilled to death to have that opportunity. So
cool, man.
We're going to kind of, have a couple of rotating players for a while. And
the Kansas City Limits thing was pretty cool.
I haven't seen it yet because I never knew when it was going to be on.
Well, I just get little insider information from,
That was a fun show.
Yeah. Man.
I kind of feel bad for Levittown because they did it the next week and they started charging.
Oh.
And people are like, nah, I'll wait for Sunday when I don't have to pay anything.
Right. Yeah.
We had a couple hundred folks show up because it was free.
Isn't it kind of weird that people don't want to pay for music?
No.
Dio's upset about it.
They do, it's hard to explain the ends of the scale.
Yeah.
When you have teenage girls applying for credit cards in order to max them out to see Taylor Swift.
Right.
Or people bitching about $5 at the door.
Yeah. That's a big spectrum.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space in between.
Yeah. People won't pay the cost of a beer or two.
Right.
But they will literally go into debt for the next decade
for somebody
for one ticket.
That's crazy.
it's the spectacle, and I was there. That you
Right.
can then tell your grandkids,
Sure.
I was there. And by the way, your parents didn't go to college because I had to pay for being there.
Yeah. And, that was one thing that I used to work the Blues and Brews show in Telluride. That's where I grew up. And I actually got the gig because I had to do community service. And the judge let me do it at Brews and Brews. And then I worked real good. I was the trash guy,
Sure.
And they were like, hey, you want to stay for the rest of the show? $15 an hour? And I was like, hell yeah. And then years subsequent, I was, I graduated up from the trash guy to the gas guy, had a lot of fun. But
that's what I did today. Just a month or two ago, I started picking up lunch for the second tier sporting team
right on.
that trains at Swope Park.
being a runner, right?
Basically,
yeah.
I got it set up now. Drive my scooter from my house 5 minutes to Swope Park, pick up the van, drive to the Compass Park, or it's the medical services and the U.S. Men's Training Center and all that, where they have the kitchen. Say hey to Chef Jody, grab lunch, driving home, about 90 minutes out of a day.
Wow.
Here's my thinking, is that 3 years from now, hopefully, if I just kind of keep poking around on, 5-10 hours a week at $18 an hour, my laminates get a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And
Get a little
then,
more stacked on there.
And then the World Cup shows up.
Oh, yes.
You see where I'm
That's a
getting
good
here.
plan.
That also gives me 3 years to learn how to say how beautiful you are in at least 8 languages.
That's awesome. That's a very good sentence to learn.
I've never actually pre-thought anything in my life as much as I've got this together.
That's pretty cool, man. Kansas City. It's always been on the map, but the next few years there's a lot of big. The draft did it just happen or
is it this weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend, and then World Cup. It's pretty. There's a lot of opportunities going to become.
I may never have the opportunity to leave the country to go see a World Cup, but the fact that it's where I live, I'm like, cool. I'll get out of bed a little earlier and drive a van around 4:35 for a while, so that getting to see a World Cup
really
game,
cool stuff.
I can get to see one.
Yeah, for man, that's really cool, dude. I was gonna say about the Blues and Brews.
The credentials start about this size.
Oh yeah, you always know who the important people
and
are.
then you start getting 10 Commandment size tablets floating around your chest.
But you feel so cool. I remember because
you kind of
I had backstage, VIP. I got every pass there was, and after work I could go to any show I wanted, go talk to anybody. I had the juke joints. Man, I like
just being in the room.
Yeah, dude. And when you grow up in Telluride, not to swarm famous people. They're always there. It's just kind of a thing. I made a pizza for Daryl Hannah when I was 18.
Billionaires are pushing out the millionaires.
Yeah, I know. My mom just sold her hotel here and moved back, and I was like, "Geez, Mom, I don't know. You got some other kind of income I don't know about, or
what'd you squirrel away that you didn't tell me?
Flying some shit down from Colombia, or what?
So crypto's treating you real well, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Glad to see you got out when you could.
Well, I was gonna relate. I'm a big John Mayer fan, right? And it was the year Continuum came out, and he was headlining Saturday night, and I was so stoked, man. It was badass. We had to get him these heaters out on the stage. It's September. It's not really that cold.
Well,
but when you're playing guitar, totally understand.
And this is in Telluride?
In Telluride, yeah.
Well, it's
chilly.
Fall in the mountains.
But,
it can drop.
You got to be judgmental.
I'd be more worried about his guitars than him.
I was a stupid judgmental kid back then.
Yeah, well.
So, but what he did do that I didn't understand, but I kind of do now was the stage is outside, big stage outside. It's one of my bucket list things to be able to go back there and play sometime.
Yeah.
But he had his tour bus pull up right to the edge of the stage, and he walked off the stage and onto his bus and drove off. And he had, at least 100 girls out there. Parents had paid VIP to be in the back, and I was just like, damn, that was cold.
Well, he was cold.
Yeah.
If he was cold, he was cold.
I get it.
If you're done with the show.
Dude, I understand it way more now that
totally understand why, though. You'd think, that guy's just so full of himself.
Right,
say, he's probably like, man, I'm
about to pass out.
Or just my hands hurt.
Sure.
When
we did that gig last year at the Midland. I mean, I gave everything I had. Dude, I could barely stand up at the end of that thing just because I sweat so much.
Yeah,
you know, and
2 shirts soaked through. I
yeah,
remember.
dude.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's getting kind of hard for me, dude. I've had to, because of my back. I'm having to like, I just can't do that much stuff anymore. Like where I got to stand up, and I mean, my back. It really. I don't want to start crying, but like it's tough.
That's what stools are for, man.
Yeah,
you're
know,
more than allowed to lean back on something.
Always hurts your pride a little bit, though. You know,
until you just decide that look, either I do this and keep doing it, or I don't do that and feel worse.
Yep.
Okay, this is what I need to do to make this happen.
Yeah, man, dude, it's been tough. I started.
Maybe I'll like wheeling you out.
Oh, there you go, dude.
I'm good. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm good. Yeah.
Hey, dude, BB. Basically, that's the way he was.
Solomon Burke. Oh, man, they had to
Dio,
forklift that guy onto stages.
Yep. Who was the brother? The 2 brothers that played. God, why am I forgetting his name? Dio, get down. Dio,
get down. Hit me. Down. You're good.
You're gonna go outside.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, be good. He loves you. You don't need to make out with him.
God, he's a good boy. Dio's a good dog.
So
2 brothers.
It'll come to me in a little bit.
Right.
He had the real trippy tune in the 70s.
You're talking about Edgar and Johnny Winter.
Yes, Edgar and Johnny Winter.
Yeah.
Those guys went out.
Or Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
I mean, there was, you talk about having to get, literally wheelchair him off the bus onto, and he could kind of get propped up to play.
Oh, and he could still kind of play too.
Oh yeah.
The Crossroads, I think one of the first Crossroads he went and they wheeled him out. Man, did you see that new Crossroads poster?
I haven't.
It's horrible. I'm like, why? You guys really? Like, come on, man.
Clapton's got his thing, and I will say,
hey, I'd love to be on the poster.
I've seen his rehab clinic in Antigua.
Really?
That's why he has to make these giant festivals to
take care of it.
That,
oh, is it like a...
Plus, if you're an Antiguan resident, you are allowed to access all of the facilities for free.
Wow.
If you live
on
that
really
island,
cool, man.
The natives can just come on in. Apparently, there's quite a rotating set of people that work the industry down there that, when business gets slow, they'll check in. Oh, and 3 months later, business picks back up. I'm like, yep, back on it.
Man. Well, I watched that documentary on Amazon about Clapton, and I didn't realize how much of a substance abuser he was in the past. Like
legendary.
No shit, legendary.
Well, he's drunk.
Yeah,
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
and I mean, they even show some video that you're like, wow. It's pretty amazing.
Concert from Bangladesh, man. They got to put the back of his strap on a mic stand to hold him up.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. And I don't know what. I've always respected the way that you are when we play, because I don't drink anymore, so it's easy for me to be an asshole about it.
Sure.
And I really try hard not to, but it's like I've done the drunk, unprofessional stuff, and I'm just not going to do that anymore, what's your take on that?
I had a Clapton story, and maybe it'll come back to me if it's needed.
Okay.
I try to say that I love to drink.
Yeah.
I love to play. If I do them at the same time, I don't do either of them well.
Well, there's probably a little leeway.
Yeah,
in there.
It can't be hard. And fast,
yeah.
No brown water before the break.
Right.
If I'm gonna if it's a 2-hour set, I'll take one up with me.
Yeah.
But I try and don't always succeed.
Sure.
But as soon as that gig's over, the only thing I can control about my drinking is when I start.
Yeah, I hear you.
Once you start, it's like light fuse, run away.
Yeah,
I'm drinking.
Yeah, it's over.
Cap. You're not going to need that anymore.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I was to a place where I was like, I had to drink a half pint just to wake up.
Oh yeah, man. I know dead people. That kept tequila on the nightstand.
Yeah,
that was their AM first thing before waking up and last thing before passing out.
Yeah, it was just killing me, and a lot of it was, I'm 10 years after the war. I'm finally coming to a place where I can not feel as bad sometimes. You know, I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain. I've tried to explain it to people, and they, you know, 3 wives.
3 down, how many more to go,
2.
right?
Yeah. You know, and I really try hard not to use it as a crutch, but every once in a while I'll use it to do something crazy.
Well, first rule of my drinking, beyond, you know, knowing what time to start, is never date your bartender.
Oh, that's good.
If you have to have sex with them, that's one thing. Never date them. That is a sacred relationship. Don't screw that up by actually trying to make something other than opposite side of the bar.
You're more than welcome to use any vernacular you wish on this podcast.
I will do my fucking best.
All right. Well, I was curious to know, because I've heard a lot of stories about you and Billy and John Paul in the early days.
Sure.
You guys were in a dorm together? Or you guys were...
John Paul and I lived in the bottom of a Kansas City colonnade on 35th and Main. Uh-huh. Literally across the street from the original Chubby's.
Maybe pull that mic up to you just a little bit. There you go. Oh, that's perfect.
Right around the corner, across the street, north of Chubby's.
Yeah.
And, that was before Bill Dye was playing with him. That was the Hellhounds. And we had a particular Sunday night house gig at Fuzzy's in Westport. I remember the one summer, the air conditioning was out.
Oh, man.
So, and this is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And we are all just,
trash.
You know, in our middle 20s, and just, you know, everything you can imagine was happening. And we're shirtless and leaping across girders and, you know, just having us a gay old time.
Fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. John Paul and I always had fun.
You guys still do. I love. That's why I love having you guys play whenever I get to have you guys both. It's fun.
Oh, now we're the 2 old women on the corner of the stage. We just play a few licks and laugh at each other.
I love it, dude. Yeah, I know. It's funny. You guys are having like some kind of you're solving the world's problems over there in the corner.
Oh,
of the
no,
stage.
we're just, you know, talking shit on everybody.
I love it, man. I love it. So now, wasn't Billy Ebling around in that?
We never played together, but he was always playing kind of in the same rooms, but on a different day, or he'd have a different thing. And
so this is
Billy and I never really hang out much.
This is longer than 30 years ago, right? 1990? Yeah, 1990?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that is 30 years ago.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I've never been this old my entire life.
Oh, man, me either. Wow. How old are you? Tell me.
55.
55. Right on. I just turned 44, man. So
I got my first senior discount in person.
Did you really?
I was at Habitat for Humanity buying a sink for my new room.
Yeah.
Because I just like going there and buying cheap shit that works fine.
Yeah.
You know, $15 sink with a faucet already on it that I can tie into with my limited plumbing skills. And I looked down, there was a flyer, you know, Earth Day, everything 20% off. But that was 3 days from when I was there. I'm like, oh, damn it. Man, I can't really wait till Saturday. He's like, well, you know, the only discount we got today is, you know, 10% off seniors. And I'm like, well, what's your cutoff? He goes, oh, 55. I said,
nice. 55.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just turned 55. Yeah.
Nice, man.
So that was kind of a, you know, nice thing to have.
It would have been better if that wasn't
I got $1.50 off the $15 I spent on the sink.
Hey, dude, that's $1.50. I mean, let's put that towards your brown water.
Yeah, I regularly do.
Yeah. Right on. Well, shoot, man. I don't know. You're one of the guys that I wanted to get on the show first because I don't know, man. You play with a lot of people. You've been around for a long time. Yeah, you've been around for a long time, and you keep playing. So that means one of many things, but one, that you're consistent. Two, that you're probably not an asshole. Three, you get along with everybody, you know? And I think that's a very important thing for other musicians to.
Well, pretty much without question, if you're given equal skilled players, you're going to pick the guy you like.
Right.
And in some cases, that's even more valuable than a guy with impossible chops.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know guys around town that are unbelievable players, but I just don't really want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you can get somebody else to cover that.
Yeah.
That's fine. And guys that are, you know, just, they got a couple of chords and they'll bang the shit out of them. And I'm like, dude, I will so totally play that gig. You know it. Yeah. Come on. Right. Let's have some fun.
Right. For sure.
Yes, let's have some fun.
Dio's ready. Well, yeah, man. I think that's really important. Like I know when I go out and play, and I would much rather have somebody that is like wants to be there and having that's fun for them. Instead of being like, everything's.
When we talk about that disparity between $5 at the door and thousands of dollars, that thousands of dollars buys you the show.
Right.
You expect that to be an extravaganza.
Right.
And they at that level, it's extraordinary. The amount of stagecraft, and the amount of scripted personality.
It costs millions of dollars sometimes to put those shows on.
A minimum.
Yeah.
And then you pay $5 to see a bunch of dudes on stage that look like they want to be anywhere else reading their lyrics off of iPads. Oh. Like, nah, I don't. This is a $5 I didn't need to spend.
Yeah, right. I do understand that.
Yeah.
I guess it's just sometimes when this is a job. It's even more than a job because
nobody ever said, "Hey, I got into the music business for the money."
Yeah.
And if you did, you were wrong.
Yeah.
Don't. You're going to hurt yourself.
Yep.
Just don't.
Yep.
The classic Hunter Thompson line, the music business is a long, shallow plastic money trench where pimps and thieves run free, good men die like dogs. Plus, there's a downside.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You great oxymorons. Yeah. Jumbo shrimp, military intelligence, music business.
Yep.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, well, I've been in.
I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I just like the music part.
Me too. I was having a real hard time last week. I had a bunch of stuff going on. The freaking mics weren't working. We had to postpone and all this stuff. And
oh, sure.
And I was sitting here and I was going, why am I fucking doing this? I was just like, why? And I'm doing it because if I don't do it, I'll probably want to kill myself. You know what I mean? Like life just won't be worth living.
You want to do something.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly how and why and how much work you want to do, but you're gonna do something.
Yeah.
It's never a question if I don't do it.
Yeah.
You'll just go along and suddenly you're like, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
What I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's I guess that.
You think of it in the positive sense rather than the negative.
Yes.
If I don't do this, it's
Yes.
No, if you don't do it, then you'll just do something else.
Yeah.
But you have to want to do it.
Yeah, totally. And
which also means, okay, I'm going to give up stable relationships, a relatively, regular income. I'll probably get a couple of substance abuse problems and health insurance.
Right. Well, if it helps if you go to a war first.
So I've heard. Yeah. Not really my bag, but I see how they could. I made so little money 2 years ago that they just sent me Medicaid.
Really?
Yeah. I just got it in the mail and went, oh, thanks.
Well, man. See, we get
part of the pandemic, when the government threw a whole bunch of money at keeping people on the rolls, because I have to file my taxes.
Yeah.
Audited twice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But thanks to my significant other's support, I jumped through all the flaming hoops and got it all worked out.
I'm glad you have that.
So now I file my taxes.
Yeah. I didn't take any money from many of those things when that happened because, I had disability coming from the VA. So, technically I'm doing music, but I'm not going to starve. And these guys are not getting anything. You know what I mean? So I was very, I call it luck. It's not luck. I fucking went into a war and got fucked up for it, but I'm grateful for it.
Man, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Fuck. That ain't cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. I don't have any regrets or anything. But, I went over there thinking I was going to be John Rambo, and, that's not what happened.
Nah. Good. Yeah. I think you probably came out better than he did.
Yeah,
man.
I did. But that's why that in Rambo First Blood, because I own all the Rambos.
I'm glad.
When I came back and I watched First Blood again, and he is in the gun store on the ground, and he's crying, and it's one of the most impactful scenes ever about that, because the way he says it, and there's another scene too, and I can't really watch these kind of movies anymore, like when they get like that, because
right.
Well, you can tell already. Sorry. But it's good for me to be able to talk about it, you know?
Yeah,
finally starting to be able to.
You know, there's so many myths created around certain archetypes. I got on this Chuck Norris joke kick again.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Oh, Alexander Graham Bell invents the telephone, picks up the receiver. What's the first thing he hears?
Chuck Norris?
3 missed calls from Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You know, why is there no streets named after Chuck Norris? Nobody wants to cross Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
now 4,000 years ago, these same jokes were being told about Hercules.
right.
There's always something in culture that demands an accretion of these type of
Great word.
things. You know, it just kind of, they all say, and in this particular end of the 20th century, beginning of 21st, was Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy that gets people thinking about, you know, Chuck Norris's dick is so big it has its own dick. Yeah. You know, like, who are you going to say that about? Chuck Norris. Okay, that's
Chuck
fine.
Norris took a vacation to the Virgin Islands. Now they're just known as the Islands.
Chuck Norris built the hospital he was born in. You know?
Yeah. We used to, man, at boot camp, we would make them up about our drill sergeants.
Right. You've always
Same
got to
kind of
have an
thing.
archetype
Yeah.
that you can talk about these kind of concepts with to, you know,
Yeah.
maybe they'll say that about me. And then,
Well, you know, it's people have a lot of strange ideas about what it's like to be a soldier in the United States military, and you know, now I'm very glad I'm not in the military right now because it's getting pretty. They just want to go to war. You know what I mean? It's what it seems like. I mean, wouldn't
Yeah.
you if you were China or some other country, and all of a sudden another country started building bases all around you and putting soldiers all around you and stuff? Wouldn't
Like-
that kind of piss you off?
like Russia.
or
The stated purpose of the current Ukrainian issue is that Putin's government doesn't want to be enclosed by NATO.
right.
Why Sweden and Finland were denied entrance into NATO for so long by Turkey is because of the amount of Kurdish immigrants in Sweden. And you know the Turks and the Kurds, they don't do particularly well. So many of them have immigrated over the past few decades to Sweden. They have a voice in the Swedish parliament.
So they don't want them.
So Erdogan's government doesn't want Sweden in NATO because that gives a voice to the Kurds.
That's horrible.
Well, that's just politics.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Politics is horrible.
And those Finns, you want to talk about motherfuckers.
Yeah. And
Those Finns,
smart and
people
tough.
don't know what kind of military the Finns have. They have more tanks than any other country.
Do they really?
The Finns.
I didn't know that.
They got them.
Well,
They share the longest single border with Russia of any other country.
It would be smart to own a lot of tanks.
And they've been invaded twice in the 20th century by Russians.
Yeah.
They're definitely not particularly Russia friendly.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Geopolitics, man. Shit.
There's a lot of it.
God. Well, you know, the whole, I don't know. I'm a crypto guy. I'm real into crypto. I think I'm really disgusted by the SEC right now and all the crap they're doing about it because the United States government does not want you to be able to control your own money. They want to be able.
They have a point.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
Unfortunately, any legislation developed by SEC, for example, begins to legitimize what is essentially a Ponzi scheme.
Uh-huh.
That having been said, treat it as a gamble, not as a potential currency. I'm not saying that the technology involved and
Right.
the concepts involved aren't valid.
Sure.
But the way we're seeing it now,
Well-
it's friggin' Vegas.
It is. It is.
Which
it's like
is,
the stock market, kind of. I mean,
It's exactly like the stock market.
yeah.
It's a risk.
It is a risk. But so is the stock market.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
I'm agreeing with that as
So
well.
is walking outside and on a hot day. you
Taking
know?
a shower. You know,
I don't know.
I'll be the guy who dies slipping in the shower. Like, oh, son of a whap. And that'll be it. Like, really? That's it? Yeah, that's how it went. Okay.
Oh, man.
It was quick. He was clean. We're all right.
I don't wish that on you, Tilney. I don't wish that on
Oh, come on. That's going to be my, I just don't want to be the guy in the obituary where you read down it says was not wearing his seatbelt.
Right.
That's,
right.
kill
Something
me any
dumb.
other way. Just not that.
So, yeah. Held a firework while he was lighting it or something.
Yeah, who knows? Some sort
His
of
last words were, "Watch this."
hold my beer.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I love about the blockchain and DeFi is that you're in control of, like, nobody can turn it off. Like, what they want to do right now is they want to start these centralized coins in banks.
Right.
So everything's digital. I mean, they're literally going to release a digital coin, federally backed digital coin in May or June or July. And then, but what it is if all of the currency is digital, at any moment they can turn it off if they are in control of it.
Yeah, and the whole point of currency and government is trust.
Yeah, I think we've lost a lot of trust lately.
Remind me when we had it.
Well, I had it because I was in the military. It's like I can't not trust them.
Okay,
you know what I mean. Right. Ever since I've left, I've slowly lost trust. Well, it's just getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's any crazier than it's ever been.
No, I think there's way more money in lobby and politics than there ever was.
What's changed is how quickly we're aware of things.
Oh, that's true. The internet changed a lot of things.
Well, even cable news.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember when suddenly there was TV that you could watch 24 hours a day?
Yeah, when we got cable.
Night flight.
When we got cable in Norwood, Colorado, it was like, see, we're like just a little offshoot of Telluride, about, I don't know, 20 miles. That's an offshoot in rural Colorado. But when we got cable, I remember we watched TV for like 2 days straight.
Because there was something on. You're like, what?
Yeah. Because before then, it was just Nintendo, man. That's all I did back then. Super Mario and Contra and all that, man. You got to remember, I'm 11 years younger than you, so.
Yeah, I still have a PS3 and a Wii.
Yeah.
I am happy to say that I rehabbed the PS3 myself. Got it
Nice.
off of the yellow light of death.
Nice, dude. I got an
OG gamer over here.
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome, man.
I was a pocket full of quarters in the arcade.
Yeah,
Space
dude.
Invaders.
I used to do
and
the
Galaga.
tournaments and shit. Street Fighter 2.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, dude. That was
Yep.
so much fun, man. Actually,
First video game I ever had. My stepfather went to Sears and bought Pong.
Yep. And that was like, holy shit.
It was interactive TV.
Yeah.
My first desktop was an Apple IIe.
Yes. Big
And
old 5.5-inch floppies.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Oregon Trail all day long.
I've been slapped around by technology for a while.
That's awesome,
I'm kind of
bro.
over most of it.
Yeah.
I will not get a streaming service.
No?
The algorithms just don't have near the taste that is required for me to let somebody else pick my music.
I got you.
You know.
I got you.
Kind of the backside of that is really, if I want to hear what I want to hear, better go book a gig. People ask me, TJ, who's your favorite piano player? And in all honesty, I have to say, me. There are better ones. There's a lot of better ones. But if I don't like listening to me,
That's very good.
Why am I doing it?
That's really good,
I have to
actually.
be my favorite.
Yeah. I like that.
Mostly I suck. I hit a few things. I go, yeah, woo.
You don't suck at all, Tilney.
I think mostly,
I think
that's my
you're-
attempt at humility.
I think you're one of the
I'm
greatest
okay.
players around here, man.
Oh, there's some guys that I just go listen to Brom Winans. You just sit down and wonder.
Well, there's always somebody better.
Always.
It's always. I mean,
And then everyone can take comfort in that.
Yeah.
When Art Tatum goes, I'm Art Tatum, but hey, I'm no Oscar Peterson.
Right.
You're like, oh, come on,
Yeah,
you
right,
guys.
yeah, right.
Knock that off.
it's the same. I know.
Yeah.
But I really like that, dude. I've never thought of it that way. I've always tried to be I've got to be humble. I've got to keep myself, But
No, do you like what you play?
Of course I do, man.
Then you get to be your favorite player.
That's fucking
It's
awesome.
like, I like this because I get to do it. And they're like, yeah, man, I did
like
that
it.
and I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah, dude. That's cool. That's cool. I don't know. I was a real asshole when I first started out in music, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I was that young, stupid kid that, like, if I was at a party and I saw somebody playing guitar, I had to get that guitar and show them up. I just had to do it.
Sure.
And it's like why? You get older and you realize, what is this?
I didn't have to do that.
I didn't
did
have
I?
to be, man, what was wrong,
But you're ambitious as a human being. Everybody has a certain level of it, I've often criticized my own ability to attract too many ambitious women. Not always happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right, honey. I need to be okay. It's
Right,
my
right,
fault for
right.
being attracted to ambitious women.
Right.
My cross to bear, my friend.
Yeah.
My cross to bear.
Yeah. What does it say in the good book? Like, it's better to sit on the corner of a roof than to have a bickering wife.
I don't know which good book says that. Probably
it's in
most
Proverbs.
of them.
It's in Proverbs. It's not really a good book, as you know. I'm not really a Bible follower anymore. Well, I mean, there's some good stuff in there. There's also some horrible stuff in there.
Just like anything.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I'm
like the world.
To be honest, I'm a bigger fan of the 5 pillars of Islam than I am the 10 commandments.
Yeah, I hear you.
They just seem to, get a few things together. You go, these are all pretty good ideas.
Sure.
With the 10, they're kind of going into some subcategories with a little bit more, micromanagement.
Sure, and they're just the top. They're just the top of the law.
I bring you these 10 commandments.
I mean, literally, in if you go through Leviticus and Numbers, you're talking Deuteronomy.
It's genealogy.
It's all laws.
Well, yeah.
It's all laws. I mean, I was teasing Ian.
First 5 books of the Bible,
Yeah.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's the Pentateuch.
Yep.
That was what the Jews carried out of the desert.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep. I struggle sometimes because I still have friends that are real it's great, what bothers me, and I'm sure I bothered somebody doing this in my past, is that I say, look, I'm good. I did this for 25 years. I got a master's degree in theology from Liberty University. I know what it says. I don't need you guys to talk to me about it anymore.
How do you want to reinterpret? It's like worse than constitutional originalism.
Yeah, I don't. There's no revelation you're going to give me that's going to change my mind. I love you. Let's just leave it at that. I'll see you in hell.
We can move on.
It's just built into the whole doctrine that you gotta share this because you're so overjoyed. I mean, and I get it. I think what it mainly is, though, is just community that people are getting high off of.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just that one train of thought that everybody's in agreement. I mean, that is very powerful shit.
Which is why music is so powerful across religions, across cultures, across millennia.
Yep.
That's the one thing that people can get together and participate in, and that has no other reason to be.
Yep, it's true. I mean, you can be having one of the shittiest days in the world, get on a stage and hit a note and be like, oh my God.
Or have one of the shittiest days in the world and hear somebody else do it.
Yeah, too.
And go, oh, fuck. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Or put on your favorite, like I always throw on Ain't Wasting No More Time. That's one of my favorite songs, and it's always like, just leave your mind alone, man. Leave your mind alone.
And just get high.
Yeah. One of these, I'll be brave enough to do it the next time we play.
Okay.
So,
do you have a piano up here? I can teach it to you.
I wish
it's pretty easy.
I don't. Yeah. You know what? I've been doing my little key parts on my tracks on my iPad.
Sure.
Or I'll do one notes, because I can
cut and paste,
layer it. Yeah. I play keyboard on the Mac.
Sure. Sure.
I know where the notes are. I can do little things on a key. Knowing the notes on a keyboard is very helpful in any kind of writing of music or arranging music.
Absolutely.
I would highly recommend knowing it.
Helps you learn your theory.
Yeah, totally.
Favorite quote of mine, though, it was an NPR interview that Terry Gross did with Eddie Van Halen. He said, Terry, there's a reason they call it music theory and not music fact. Thanks, Eddie.
Appreciate it. Man, yeah. Eddie. Wow. He was awesome.
What did that guy love to do?
Play
guitar.
Yeah, play guitar, man.
Legendary. Play him, Jeff Beck. Yep. Who else was I thinking of?
Man, I was so sad. But Jeff Beck died.
Cliffs of Dover.
Eric Johnson.
Yep. Most interviews I read about him or anything is the one thing people say is that you will never see that guy without a guitar in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he's walking around the house or he's in the and he's always just going boop 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 bing boom. Yeah. Doo, doo, boop,
That's the way I was when I got my new PRS.
Les Paul never had a guitar. Broke his arm.
Oh yeah, right? He got his cast set up to where he could play.
His arm set, and he's 80.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're just going to leave it like this.
That's awesome.
Because that's how, I got my Monday at the Iridium I got to cover, man. Come on.
What a great player, too, though, man. That guy
and an engineer.
Insanely
an inventor,
Innovative
guy. He
guy.
created sound-on-sound recording for all intents and purposes. Guy. But those are the kind of guys. And Eddie was a much bigger inventor and tinkerer than people ever give him credit for.
Dude, his effects are like most of the effects.
How he would retube his Marshalls, to get the Brown sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was very innovative.
He was an electronic, he'd have a solder gun in his hand if he didn't have a 6-string at all times, making shit.
When I got my PRS, my Silver Sky, my John Mayer guitar, that's what I was for like 3 days. I was just walking around here. I couldn't put it down. Yeah. I was like, I think I'm just going to lay here in the bed with me. I might want to wake up and play it.
Oh, what was that? Damn it.
Oh, man. Well, I love that is still in me. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of a gauge. Like, is this really, like, are you just doing this to do it, or are you doing it because it's, like, part of you, And
well, it's perfectly legitimate to struggle with that.
Yeah.
But you don't ever have to answer it every time.
Elaborate.
You can let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, some weeks that I just don't play every day.
Yeah.
And most weeks I don't.
Yeah.
But I've been gigging for so long. I've been on stage since I was 6.
Wow.
Boys choirs. Went through all the choral programs from 6
years old.
You
were probably such a ham too, weren't you?
No, it happened later in life. So desperate for attention as a child.
Right. Yeah. Classic.
I've never been away from playing or performing for more than 3 weeks, 4 weeks that I didn't have a gig of some kind.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to the point now where what would happen if I just didn't do that for a month?
Yeah.
I used to just freak out if I didn't have a gig every 72 hours.
Really?
I was like, I have to play.
Yeah.
Call up somebody and do something. And now I'm kind of going, maybe I should just give it all a little bit of space and perspective, and then I can attack it with a new idea.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think that's good to do. I'm in
a position where having done it for so long,
Yeah.
it's like, maybe if I want to keep doing it and not hate it,
right,
and feel it like it's drudgery.
Yep.
I should just.
That's what I had to do with.
We need a little time apart. Sometimes.
That's what I had to do with the Jam Killer shop, man. Because for a year straight, I worked on that thing every day. I mean, I was either on my computer or playing my guitar.
Right.
And I had 2 weeks a couple months ago where I thought I was pretty much done with my PTSD episodes. Because I hadn't had one in, I don't know, it'd been at least 2 years. A real where it rocked
Call
me.
somebody.
Yeah. And I had one, and I was for 2 days, I was just on the floor bawling, and I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything. I was like, I need to chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? Man. I think I'm pushing myself a little too hard here, but part of that drive is because I just earlier in my life, when all I wanted to do was party, I just fucked up so much shit, and part of it is subconscious, I'm sure, and trying to make myself worth something,
Sure.
And so, I've taken a step back a little bit. I'm not, it's really cool. I'm getting some cool traction on the internet and stuff with it. So it's fun. I enjoy it,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that can keep me in music long after I can't play it. You know what I mean? If something happens, God forbid. Or
a great classical guitarist from England named Julian Bream. And he died a couple of years ago at 93. When he was in his 80s, his neighbor's dog knocked him over out in his yard, and he busted up his left elbow real bad.
Oh, man.
He couldn't play nearly the way that he wanted to because he was still performing up until he died.
Yeah.
He gave an interview at 90,
wow.
Talked about that incident and said, I'm a better musician now than I was then, but I can't prove it. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, no shit. That's great. That's great. There's a lot to say in that, though. There's a lot to unpack in that. Yeah.
That's man. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I can't worry much about my scale of achievement over a certain amount of time. Right. And it's like, no, man, I just want to keep doing it. And then hopefully, I'll die with a gig or two on the books.
Yeah.
And
right.
Like, no, he didn't make it tonight. He died.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
dude, who was that guy? I think he played for Aquarium Rescue Unit. Died on the stage, didn't he?
Colonel Bruce Hampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go out on the stage, man.
Yeah, I'd kind of more the Pine Top Perkins guy. He was 100 and he got done with his gig and he got his favorite McDonald's meal, went home, ate dinner,
went to sleep,
and that was it.
It's a good death.
Oh, one of the better ones. Squeak.
Yeah, man. So, I guess you were talking about Islam a little bit. Mm-hmm. What do you kind of do you have any kind of spiritual practices, or do you do any? But have any certain beliefs about any of that stuff?
Only that any religion that I've experienced, the common tenet trying to respect other people, mm-hmm. how that is interpreted can be obviously every point.
Unless you're, if you're black, we're not going to respect you.
Well, because you're not a person,
right?
Yeah.
if you're
not even 3/5 of you're 3/5 of a person.
Yeah. Or God wasn't talking about you.
Or you're female. Or you're Palestinian.
Yep.
Or the examples continue on as we sit here, and people still consider other people not people.
Sure. I mean, the Catholic Church in Germany was right there with Hitler,
who just recently disclaimed their doctrine concerning, especially with the discovery of the New World, that you could go to the Catholic Church and say, give me the paper that says we can take this land in the name of the church in order to convert the infidels.
Yeah.
So the Catholic Church signs off on it and says, all right, we get 15% of gross.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably just more. A month ago, the Pope said, nope, can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
A month ago.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's 2023.
It's crazy.
A month ago.
They have enough money they could end world hunger if they wanted to. Catholic Church.
Well, Bill Gates has that.
I know, but they're the church. They're supposed to be following this.
They're an institution. Right? They haven't been a church.
Long time. All of that, that was probably one of the things that shocked me the most when I went for my master's degree, was what I found out about Catholicism, because I had no idea. Like that. I mean, there were some good popes back in the day that did some good stuff, but you always look out for the popes that were named like Pope Mercy. That guy was not merciful at all. Yeah, pious. The guy was
the 8th, the 12th, or the 32nd. Somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, they're literally like, hey, if you guys will go over here and kill all these people, you can be saved.
Right. What was the sins you could buy out of? Dispensations.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That was real big here in the 15th century.
Dude, it was all about power. It's all about power still today.
Yeah. I was just kind of boning up on Emperor Constantine, mm-hmm. who moved the capital from Rome to Istanbul, mm-hmm. And created
one religion.
Why why he became a Christian. So there's a lot of more political reasons in that than he had any kind of literal come to Jesus moment.
Well, yeah, because the Pope was basically the king.
Well, there wasn't a Pope per se.
Right.
There was a papal state.
Right.
And he was working around that.
They were very powerful, though.
And he's definitely seeing the trends and going, if I say I'm Christian and we kind of make that official, then I can control a lot more territory. Yep.
It's insane. It's just,
if we could point to a better system that we're not doing, help a brother out, right?
No shit.
This is as good as we've got so far.
This is it.
I'm thinking things are getting better.
They are, dude. I mean, the world in general is better for all these people that want to say the world is
step back and realize how many people are not starving
or not dying every day, or not,
and how many diseases we can cure quickly.
Yes. And
Jimmy Carter killed the guinea worm. That guy.
Well, when you grow up I grew up, my parents were charismatic Christians,
as was my mother.
Yeah. And it was, the world is horrible and it's getting worse and worse every day. And, right. It's just beat into you basically. And then when you come out of it and you're like,
it's so easy to be led by fear.
oh man,
It's
and
a
that's
natural
what
instinct.
It
It's
is.
a survival instinct. If I'm not afraid of these things, they'll kill me.
Yeah, and that's what
That's
Trump
the Fox
is doing.
News model.
Yeah, that's what Trump is doing. Trump is. If you listen to anything Trump's saying now, it's all fear. Oh, they're coming for your this. They're coming for that. It's like,
why?
Yeah.
And why is it so many people want to be here? If this country is so awful.
Well, it's not. That I had this. When you first come back from fighting or doing anything like that, and somebody says something about this country being horrible or something, I mean, you just go.
You turn into Merle Haggard real quick, don't you?
Yeah. There was a few
Walking
times
on the fighting side of me.
Yeah. Oh, dude! The first month I came home, I got 3 public intoxes and a DUI, and and those 3 public intoxes got downgraded because I was in fights in every single one of those.
Right.
And but they were like, oh, this guy just got back from
his vet.
He's kind of he's fucked up. Yeah. So luckily I didn't kill anybody, but it's hard, dude.
Illegally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were hired to kill people.
Yeah.
That was your job.
Well, I wasn't kicking down doors or anything. I was in the back of a convoy in a giant wrecker, and when something got hit, my job was to go get it.
Yeah.
So
you could have got blowed up just like everybody that was kicking down doors.
Oh yeah. It was.
What's the Steve Earle tune about the truck driver in Basra?
I don't know if I.
Oh, that's a great song.
Right on.
Man, I should send you a link to that one.
Well, see, we are always going super slow because we're looking for IEDs in the front. Like, big roller trucks and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I saw a lot of cool stuff. I saw a lot of horrible stuff too, though, man. I mean, when you land in that country, you can feel the oppression. Like, you can just
dust.
Yeah, you're like, what is going on here?
This fine-grained level of oppression that just gets onto everything.
Yeah, it's weird, man. And that's when we had been there for 12 years.
Already.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? None of that. Dude, we'd be driving down the road. Oh, dude, if there's going to be some pot fields coming up, you turn a corner and there's just acres and acres of weed, Turn another corner, acres and acres of poppy,
Right.
70% of their economy is drugs.
Well, yeah.
While we were there.
Sure.
And you don't think we had anything to do with it? No. Nothing. We didn't do any. CIA never sold any drugs to anybody, man.
Didn't have to.
They just facilitated it.
They just, hit a box on a checklist and said, yeah, that flight's cleared.
That's, I could have a lot more faith in our government, right, if they were way more transparent. If they were just, even if they would be honest about the horrible shit they do, I would have more trust.
Unfortunately, that whole idea of apologism is so anathema to a lot of people. How dare you say that our country,
Sure.
You look at critical race theory, you look at all of these types of different things, you look at reparations, you say, it was states' rights, it wasn't slavery. And I understand that. And level of transparency, to be honest, in the same way that even though I'm occasionally fascinated by the sausage making of legislation, which nobody really should, but that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I don't really want to know everything.
Yeah.
Even most things I probably don't want to know. And I'm okay with a level of ignorance. Now, but it's not going to be up to just me, in my opinion, to change any of that.
Right. I don't think it can be changed, really. It's going to have to.
We're still just human beings.
Yeah.
And we've been like this since we were human beings.
Yeah. It's not,
We haven't gone through a radical evolutionary step.
Once we get digital God, we'll all be okay.
We don't?
No, I said once we get digital God. I'm joking about AI.
I thought we already had one.
Oh, no, he's great. I use ChatGPT, man. I do use it on my website, man. Like making shit to where it's going to pop or whatever,
Yeah.
SEO stuff. It's really cool, actually.
Just because you can hire out copywriting.
Well, when you do a lot of copywriting.
Well, then you just lost your own job, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't know. It's the one from, I was telling Shannon the other night, the one from, because I got in on all of these betas whenever they were, because I research all this stuff a lot.
Right.
So like today I got in on the Adobe Firefly beta. It's their AI artist, it sucks.
Well,
it doesn't suck, but I expected way more from them. Anyway, I digress.
No. That the media can pump up the new shiny toy and everyone jumps into it going, this is hard. Yeah. This sucks. Well, I am not Picasso today.
The Bard, will literally lie to you. They're AI.
Okay.
Because I'm testing them out. ChatGPT.
So it's apparently way more human than you thought.
Oh, well, it's based on our behaviors. I mean,
on its accumulation of the data of our behaviors.
Yeah, of our behaviors. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I'm going to send you a file. I'd like you of code because I'm learning how to do a bunch of code and stuff with ChatGPT, which is really cool. Because I've always been a front end guy, kind of like a lot of design, a lot of, HTML and stuff like that. I've never done any of the bones, and so I started getting into it. I'm like
ones and zeros. And
shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm like, I can really do this now, and it can be good because I have ChatGPT that can be like, okay, this is wrong. This needs to be fixed, and even write it for you.
Sure.
So you can learn way faster.
You have to be a better writer to make a program to help people be mediocre writers.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But you can, if people are
We're gonna see how this goes.
If people are just clicking and pasting, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell.
Well, it also speaks to people not speaking.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I guarantee you they don't have...
Throw somebody a class in oratory in junior high.
Yeah.
Put them on the speech team.
I took all those, man. That was my game, man. I love talking.
That's one of the trophies that I couldn't throw away because the old lady says, you're not throwing that away, The 4th grade debate trophy that I won.
Dude, I was about to say, there's not many people that have your vocabulary just in the last... however long we've been talking.
But it's not like these are new words.
No, they're not. But people don't use those. I mean, your general, normal. I
am the proud owner of a high school diploma and a library card.
Hey, but you go to the library.
I can, thanks to the interweb revolution, you can rent ebooks.
Yeah, you can do it.
The planet is improving. First of all, you can rent ebooks from your library for free, and the Kansas City buses are free.
Yep.
Dude, the bus is free. How is this not on everybody's lips regularly?
I didn't know the bus was free now.
Shit,
well, it's been
still
free for me because I'm a vet. But
now it's free for everybody.
That's cool. How are they paying for that?
Because the percentage of collections is able to be absorbed by the general fund. It was only about 7% of the operating budget of the ATA.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And, when the pandemic hit, we're like, well, get rid of that. And the guys in city government crunched a few numbers and said, I think we should keep this.
Well, good for them. I'm glad they didn't pocket it.
It came out of other programs that maybe they didn't need, but they got it figured out.
That's cool.
And silly things. And see, I like government when the person I stop at about city council and then maybe straggle into some state house stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's stuff that actually I can
it's gonna
put my hands on.
Yeah.
Now, when the city took over the trash collection, on snow days, they bumped the trash collection day one more and put those guys on snowplows so that streets can get cleared faster.
Okay.
And just back up the garbage collection a day. Like,
that's smart. Smart.
I'll buy that guy a beer.
I mean,
that's buy the city manager a cocktail for getting that done.
That's government actually working.
Yeah.
Now, famous line if you're in the military is hurry up and wait.
Oh, music business, same way.
Yeah.
I have to leave here in a little bit because I got to go get my load in done, get ready, playing at the West Sider tonight.
Right. Oh,
but I got to sit around for a while. I can't just run in and set up and go.
Oh, no. I don't like doing that either, man. It stresses me out. Well, you've seen me.
Yeah.
Part of that is my...
World Wide Web, I'm a witness.
Yeah. Part of that is the anxiety that I get from PTSD and... Part of
just
it,
anxiety.
It's just anxiety, yeah.
High anxiety.
Yeah.
I got 3 Mel Brooks quotes in today.
That's
nice.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I love Mel Brooks.
You could never make Blazing Saddles again, could you?
Oh, God, no way.
You just couldn't.
No way.
You just couldn't.
You couldn't make a lot of the movies we grew up with, probably.
But if you did...
They'd try to cancel you.
There was an animated movie I watched a few months ago that... It slapped a anthropomorphic samurai characters, and half of the movie was Blazing Saddles.
Really?
I'll send you a link to that one.
Link.
You just start watching it, you're going, motherfucker, Blazing Saddles is a cartoon.
I love that movie though. That's one of the funniest movies.
Really weird. I'm like, I don't know who the guys. I didn't research up enough to like. Oh man.
I think part of it is there's a definite push. There's some definite pushback now on all the cancel culture type stuff. You know,
the swinging pendulum.
Yeah, exactly. And 10 years from now, it'll be right back where
you shouldn't be drinking Bud Light for any reason. I'm sorry.
But come on.
Bud Light is what it is. When World War II happened and most of the drinking age men left to fight in Europe, Anheuser-Busch lightened its formula to sell to the women that were working in the factories. The men came back. They didn't change it back. Then they came out with Bud Light. So Bud Light
is actually lighter.
2 steps from an actual beer. It's not even just one. I'm like, no, man, people should be protesting Bud Light because it's crap.
I was a Pabst
for
guy.
no other reason. PBR is okay. They're all yard beers, but Bud Light, God, it's awful.
But I mean, all these conservatives going nuts about it because it's a trans on the commercial.
Who's
retarded.
The snowflake here?
Yeah, who cares? I
don't care.
I don't care either. That's why
I wouldn't drink it no matter who else did.
That's why I put Howard Stern's quote up after that happened. It's like, look, what goes on between your legs is none of my business. It doesn't affect me at all. As long, if you're in love and you're not harming anybody, more power to you.
I currently struggle with certain aspects of this difficulty. I know 2 people personally that have had puberty blockers when they were 8, 9, 10.
I don't think that's good.
And then surgery by the time they were 18.
Yeah.
And they weren't really happy kids to begin with. They're not particularly happy now.
Right.
However, that has to be a decision between parents, doctors, and the child.
Yeah.
I would prefer that a gender assignment surgery wasn't available till you're 18.
I think that's totally cool. I don't have any problem with that. Dude, how many times did you change your mind from 12 to 18?
Every few hours?
Day. Yeah, dude. I mean,
do I like macaroni? I don't think I do today.
Yeah,
do I like different material on my body? Maybe not today.
Yeah, it's very. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't think that changing your sexuality before it's developed. Is the best idea.
No, I don't really either. But
hey, I'm a middle-aged white guy.
I don't know shit.
What do I know about any of that? I'm also a flaming heterosexual who can outdress most gay men.
You do dress well. You do dress well.
Today, maybe not so much, but I thought it was just the radio.
Did you?
Yeah, it's podcast, right? You listen to it.
Well, it's all video podcast now, man. You listen to it, too.
Somebody's got to get me the memo on this,
listen
man.
To it, too.
I'd have brought, because I got my work shirt in the car, I at least would have worn that, When I say work shirt, I mean my snaps.
I'm in track pants and a T-shirt.
So. Yeah, we're the host. You're allowed. I'm a guest. I'm not supposed to,
Oh, you look great, man.
And in the words of James Brown, always outdress your house.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I will go on record. That is my opinion concerning the debate about
when that should happen. I don't think that's a hard position, really.
But how much does the medical establishment versus the government versus
a lot of it's academia. A lot of it's coming out of academia, man.
Well, on both sides.
Yeah.
When I say that, I mean that there's certain ivory towers that support children in that situation. Certain ones that are saying, well, we've done this for a while. And we're saying maybe it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm the oldest 12-year-old I know, first of all. And so I can't, if it comes down to me voting on an issue like this, I don't know what I would want to vote for.
Well, I think
would it be my money helping to pay for it? Which okay.
Yeah.
But it's also just it's a tiny percentage of a population of 300 million people.
And Bill,
much less 7 billion on the planet.
Do you like Bill Maher? I love Bill Maher.
He and I both are growing uncomfortably more conservative as we age.
Yeah.
Even
though I think you guys are still I think you're still a normal Democrat. It's just
we're just a normal Democrat.
The party is moving
parts of it.
Yeah, parts of it. Yeah, and same things happen on the right side too. I mean,
yeah. My dad's a conservative.
What happened to the moderates?
You know why he's a conservative? Because he really wants a battery powered Escalade. He's like, I'm tired of paying for gas,
Right,
and it's less moving parts. I might save money. There's no pollution I have to breathe. Give me my damn electric car.
Yeah.
And he's as conservative as
Yeah.
where actual conserve is a part of the phrase.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's this McCarthy $1.5 trillion budget or debt ceiling raise?
Yeah.
Jesus,
it's
man.
so much of it, and I don't, well, if I don't like the word, I won't use it. So much is just acting.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Give me a sound bite and let me run with it and see what happens.
Did you see that?
Let me appease the donor class, and then I can stay in office.
That new congressman did a YouTube video, and that's exactly what he said. He's getting a lot of heat for it from all of his buddies. He said, look, most of the people that you see yelling and acting crazy, it's all an act. They don't really act like that when the camera's off.
Yeah, most of them have to talk to each other during the day at some point because they're on committees.
He said in closed hearings, there's none of that going on.
Yeah.
But when the cameras come in and the doors open, everything changes.
That's how you raise money.
Yeah. Well,
to stay in
that's the
office.
problem that I have with
if elections were federally funded or any election was publicly funded.
It's just...
Then we would get the government we deserve, and oh no.
Yeah, and then a lot of people. I mean, when somebody, it shouldn't be that you go up 2 income classes just because you became a congressman. That's not what you get on that.
Or that where that income level is now, a new congressman can't afford to live in Washington.
Right.
He can't afford an apartment.
Right. Yeah.
He can't.
It's crazy.
Man, I can't live here. I don't know.
And the whole I'm not going to buy stocks, but my husband has a firm.
Yeah, insider information about anything.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that.
I don't know. I don't either.
I
Man.
wouldn't,
I think just
if I heard of something ahead of time, I'd be like,
I would too.
Maybe I'll be selling that stock today.
Yeah, I would too.
It's also why I don't keep Robinhood on my phone.
Yeah.
It's only on the tablet at home.
Oh, man.
I don't want to be sitting around thinking I need to be, gambling.
Dude, today I'm glad I checked my phone because I was like, oh, crap. Because I had to sell off some shit real fast.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what it is, though. If you're going to do it,
I can afford to lose everything that I've got in
That's
it.
exactly how you got to do
If it went to zero tomorrow, I'd say, well, fuck, that was fun.
That was, yeah. If you can't, I've been trying to get Shannon in on a little bit of crypto here and there. I'm like, look, if you know where
I've
it's
made
going,
some
you
money
can make
on
some
it
money. Yeah, I've made
10 years ago.
I've made quite a bit on it, but I've also lost, like all at once, all of it. Everything I had in that account or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a gamble, and you can't just get in it But crypto is so you got to know a little bit of shit to even get a wallet.
But who knows?
Nobody
knows. Nobody knows who started it.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, nobody knows.
What's his name? Ichima, what?
Which is a pseudonym.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't have a passport.
But it works.
Nobody
Bitcoin works, man.
For a small group of people that sell it to other people who don't.
Yeah, but anybody can mine it. You can mine it on your computer right now if you want it.
Yeah, and I would get 1 Bitcoin in the next 8 years.
That's why you get a lot of computers.
And which is why these data farms are sucking up so much energy now that it's changing the climate.
My little cousin did it for about a year and a half. Made a lot of money, got out of it right when the halving happened.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to talk about those few instances where people actually do something with it versus the vast majority who don't.
Yeah. And I think if the SEC can regulate it, it can be good, but they don't need to
That legitimizes it, and that's what concerns me.
They can't regulate if they just regulate what is centralized, like Coinbase, okay, where everybody's coming and they have their wallets, they can regulate them to make sure they're not taking advantage of the people that are holding their money there.
Well, then
but
why
they don't
not
need to regulate all the DeFi stuff.
We have a Federal Reserve that does that already.
I just don't want my money to be controlled by any government. I just have a lot of distrust now.
I'm not saying that your distrust is misplaced.
Yeah.
I don't see a current solution efficiently addressing that.
Yeah, I don't either because
I'm as skeptical, if not more so, of crypto than I am of the Fed.
Well, I don't know. The Fed's gangsta.
Well, I get a lot of this from my father. He was on the Federal Reserve Board of Western. He lives in Montana.
Yeah.
The Western Board. He had Bernanke on speed dial.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he and I have had discussions about what these guys actually do.
Yeah.
And it is so boring.
Yeah. Well,
and it is not, nobody really wants to be doing this, but we know we kind of have to.
Yeah.
It's not the big splashy, let's just, move a few interest points here and there and
that
we'll all
sucks.
get rich. And like, no.
Well, I mean, that's basically what happened.
And how, is it LBJ or a president of that period said, I'm only going to hire one-armed economists to work in my administration, so none of them can walk up to me and say, but on the other hand.
Yeah, right. Man, I don't know. I guess my head is, because I've just been studying all the shit about like how the dollar is losing. Basically, like you got all these countries that are like, we don't want the dollar to be the reserve currency anymore. We're tired of being, subject to all these sanctions and all this other shit.
Right.
So you got all these nations that are coming up with a whole other currency. So what is going to happen is, but China, they don't want to have the reserve currency though, because there's a whole other thing that comes
in.
The
yuan, just reading this week, outside of China, for Chinese nationals, is now the highest traded currency.
Yeah.
They're putting faith in their own currency rather than in the dollar.
Which is bad for us.
Technically, and when it comes to exchange rates.
It's good for crypto.
Well, it's good for the crypto advertising.
Yeah. Well,
we're talking about living in fear too. We can live in fear about other people. We can live in fear about other economic systems.
Sure.
At some point, you're like, I'll just play a gig and make some money and have some drinks and see what happens the next day.
I know. I can't. It's hard for me to shut my mind off, man.
Oh, I'm not asking you to.
No, I know, but I'm just. It's like. Sometimes I'm just like, why can't I just stop thinking about this stupid shit? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you want to be proactive.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to greedy.
Yeah, no, that's right. I don't want to be greedy. It's funny. I went out to, I don't know, it was a couple months ago. Whenever I got these shoes or whatever, and Go-Go Ray was like,
"That's a nice shoe."
Thanks, man. He was like, "Man, I think I could wear those drumming." And he's like, "How much are those, dude?" I was like, "Oh, $60." And he's like, "That's it?" And I was like, "No, I'm making for $40 in China." He goes, "Well, you ain't greedy, man. That's good." I was like,
"Thanks, Go-Go."
Well, thanks, man. That's awesome.
I've watched that guy play a couple of gigs where my jaw just stayed on the floor.
Dude, he's amazing.
He's a bad man.
He is, dude.
Oh, him and Mike Dillon playing a duo.
Really?
They had the two of them. Mike was playing tablas and xylophone and other percussion, and Go-Go playing go-go.
Yeah.
Just the two of them. Man, a little bar in Midtown.
Yeah.
And they were just absolutely hurling things at you. I mean, it would go from punk to
awesome.
monk
He's awesome.
in the same thing.
I looked for just the two of them little bar, but it either isn't available or can't be played right now.
Apparently,
Thanks,
either
Google.
punk or monk was identified by what really worries me is people listening to our conversation all the time.
Please do listen to this and like spread it around.
All right. I got to get my ass to work, man. Thanks, Internet. Thank you,
man.
brother.
Dude, I love you, man. Thanks for being here, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Look.